What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to the video. Today, I'll be previewing Spire Motorsports as we head into the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series season. So anyways, let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. The first driver we're talking about from Spire Motorsports headed into 2024 is Cory Joy. Cory Joy once going to be back in the number 7 car for Spire Motorsports in 2024 as he signed a multi-year contract extension with Spire Motorsports. Now, Cory Joy in 2023 had a career season. He finished 25th in the points, had a lot of top 20 finishes, had 2 top 5s, and 3 top 10 finishes. And for a majority of the regular season especially, he competed for the NASCAR Cup Series Class and was in the top 20 points a majority of the regular season. Unfortunately, as the year progressed, Cory Joy kind of fell off, but still it was a very solid and a really good year for Cory Joy in 2023. Now going into 2024, I believe Ryan Sparks is going to be the crew chief. Ryan Sparks has been the crew chief for Cory Joy the last couple of seasons, worked them since basically his Go Fast days back in the late 2010s to the early 2020s. And I believe Ryan Sparks will be the crew chief again, which Ryan Sparks overall is a very, very solid crew chief. Now, what are Cory Joy's expectations going into the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series season? Well, I think the biggest goal for Cory Joy is he needs to improve from what he did in 2023, which, like I said, he had a pretty good year in 2023. But again, I think he wants to improve and try to finish in the top 20 in standings, which with Spire Motorsports' upgrades, I think it certainly is possible. Now, there's going to be a lot of competition this year in the NASCAR Cup Series of this upcoming season, and also you have to think about it as well. He is going to have competition at his organization for the first time. He really has not had that competition since joining Spire Motorsports, but he's going to have competition from some really strong teammates going into the 2024 season. Nonetheless, so I think it's going to be a really solid year overall for Cory Joy going into the 2024 season. Like I said, I think the goal is to try to make the playoffs, get his first career NASCAR Cup Series victory, and try to finish in the top 20 standings or make the playoffs, which I think there's a good chance that he could do that in 2024, but I think he's got a really good opportunity and a really good shot to make a deep run and maybe have a solid overall good year. I think he will for sure be having a chance to compete for the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs in 2024. The second driver that we're talking about from Spire Motorsports is Zay Smith. Zay Smith, of course, will be joining Spire Motorsports after signing a multi-year contract with Trackhouse Racing and is being loaned out to Spire Motorsports for 2024. Zay Smith is going to drive the number 71 car for this organization, which will have a Trackhouse engineer working with them, and also Zay Smith is someone who's very, very talented. Now, like I said, Zay Smith will be driving the number 71 car, which I believe this will be the first time that the 71 car has been on the NASCAR Cup Series track since 2018 or 2019, when we saw their car run by Ryan Truex with Ty Baldwin Racing tried to qualify for the Daytona 500. Now, Zay Smith had a pretty solid year in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. He won 2 truck races in 2023. Unfortunately, though, he failed to make it to the Championship 4 and kind of struggled in the second half of the 2023 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series season. Now, this upcoming season, he will have Steven Duran as a crew chief. Steven Duran, for those who don't know, this was announced today. Steven Duran was the former engineer of Kevin Harvick. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Zay Smith is part of KHI, if I'm not mistaken, which would make a lot of sense why he's picking up Steven Duran. But Steven Duran was an engineer for Kevin Harvick for many, many years, and I think Steven Duran will give Zay Smith what he wants and what he needs, and I think he's really, truly going to help Zay Smith out throughout 2024. Now, the other thing I mentioned is that he will have a lot of help from Trackhouse Racing, which I think that this is going to be the strongest of the 3 Spire cars in 2024. Now, what are my expectations for Zay Smith? Well, I think Zay Smith will have overall a very, very solid and good year. One of the big reasons is because he is going to have that Trackhouse Racing Alliance in 2024, really helping out the organization going to 2024. And also, Zay Smith is not bringing a ton of funding, which will make him focus on trying to be a really good driver. We saw Zay Smith have some flashes of brilliance in the Cup Series last year. Actually got a top 10 in the Co 600 with Spire Motorsports. And in general, I think Zay Smith is going to overall have a very, very good opportunity. Now, past 2024, there's a good chance to be with Trackhouse Racing in that 71 car when that charter gets leased back to Trackhouse Racing. But I think Zay Smith is someone who overall, in general, I think is going to have a pretty good year in 2024. Like I said, I think he'll be the highest finishing driver in the points. I think he'll have an outside shot of making the playoffs, so I think that's kind of unlikely at this point. But I think he will overall have a pretty good year. And I think Zay Smith, in general, if you're a fan of his, I think you should be really, really excited and pumped up if you are a fan fan of Zay Smith because I think going to Spire Motorsports of all the acquisitions they're making, Doug Ducart's coming over to be the president of that organization who work with Chip Ganassi Racing. I believe that Zay Smith overall in general will have a pretty good year with Spire Motorsports in the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series season. And the final driver that we're talking about from Spire Motorsports is Carson Hocevar. Carson Hocevar is joined the Cup Series on a full-time basis in 2024 as he'll drive the number 77 car on a multi-year deal. Now, Carson Hocevar is coming off of having an incredible season in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, scoring 4 victories and making it to the Championship 4. However, Carson Oar, we obviously know, has a little bit of maturity issues. If you watch the final race of the season at Phoenix, he got into the back of, I believe it was Corey Heim, and spun Corey Heim out and got retaliated after the race. And a lot of people in the industry felt like the Carson Oar, how he felt, was a lot of BS. Now, that's one of the biggest issues that Carson Oar, in my opinion, is going to have going to 2024 is those maturity issues. He's got to clean that up going into 2024. But he's going to get a lot of help going into the 2024 season because he's going to be working with Luke Lambert. Luke Lambert is a veteran crew chief of the NASCAR Cup Series, and Luke Lambert's worked with drivers like Jeff Burton, Ryan Newman, and also Noah Gragson as well. I think Luke, with his experience being in the Cup Series for nearly a decade, I think he's going to be someone that really is going to help out Carson Oar going into the 2024 season. But Carson Oar, in my opinion, is an extremely talented driver. Carson Oar got 4 or 5 top 20s in the first 6-7 starts of his NASCAR Cup Series career, though he did kind of fall off near the end of the season this year in Cup. He still had some really impressive runs, including nearly getting a top 5 finish at Bristol Motor Speedway before unfortunately having a loose wheel and near flat tire near the end of the race. I think Carson Oar is going to have overall probably the worst of the 3 years, but I think this will be the best we've ever seen the 77 car perform. So my prediction is I think Carson Oar will probably finish around 29th to 30th in the standings this year, probably around that 30th position range in the points, so finishing the worst of the 3 in points. But I think Carson Oar might get a top 10 or a couple top 10s throughout the year because in general, I think the Cup field is going to be extremely competitive and extremely tight throughout the 2023 season. So I expect this to be a pretty good year for Carson Oar. I'm really looking forward to see what he can do. And like I said, I think Carson, like I said, is overall going to have a pretty solid and overall a pretty good year in the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series season. I think he has a good year, and I think he will contend for maybe some outside chance of victories at Super Speedways, but that might be about it throughout 2024. In general, when you look at Spire Motorsports going into the 2024 season, there's a lot of hype around this organization. Like I mentioned a few minutes ago, Doug Ducart is coming in to be the president of this organization, which Doug Ducart has worked at Hendrick Motorsports, Chevrolet, and also Chip Ganassi Racing. So he knows how to run a business. You've also got him acquiring Kyle Busch Motorsports. I might make a video talk about the Truck Series operation here for the end of the offseason, but they've got the KBM organization now, which they move into that Kyle Busch Motorsports shop because they're making a lot of big moves. Obviously, Gamebridge is coming to play, which remember the owner of Gamebridge Downtowns is a co-owner of the Andretti Group. So I think that you're going to see maybe Andretti play a lot bigger role. And this organization, like I said, has been making some pretty massive and major moves. And remember, like I said, they're also going to have an alliance with Trackhouse Racing in the 2024 season. So in general, I think the Spire Motorsports is in very good and really strong shape going to 2024, and I cannot wait to see how things go for this organization next year, and I'm excited to see where things go in the future. In the next 5 to 10 years, by the end of the decade, we could see Spire Motorsports be a championship caliber organization, but I think 2024 will be those big steps in the right direction as this team continues to become a more legitimate organization in NASCAR, and especially in the NASCAR Cup Series. So, that is going to be it for the 2024 Spire Motorsports team preview. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel for notifications on us, and if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as for my page as well. Links description below that, and comment your thoughts on today's video. How well do you think Spire Motorsports will perform throughout the 2024 season? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Later today on the channel, there should be a video talking about what's going on with AJ Allmendinger and Kaulig Racing. Then tomorrow on the channel, we'll have a massive NASCAR news recap video for the last few days. Saturday, we'll probably be ranking every track for 2024. And then on Sunday, you're likely going to see the NASCAR Xfinity Series predictions drop on the channel. Got a lot of great content dropping on the channel that I cannot wait for you guys to check out as we get closer to Christmas, as we get closer to the start of the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series season. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.